Alright, so a very beefy Sony State of Play has officially been announced to be taking place this week. And of course, it's got the Final Fantasy VII community in a tizzy, wondering could this be the moment that Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 officially gets teased and gets a title reveal. So we're going to break down the chances of that happening in today's video. So if any of that sounds cool to you, feel free to click the like button, and if you're new here and you'd like to stick around, you can subscribe. And if you are excited, hyped up for Remake Part 3, go ahead and hit that hype button with an Omni Slash. So let's talk about it. Alright, so without wasting any more time, let's just go ahead and jump over to the PlayStation blog and read the write-up that they have for this seemingly really big state of play that's going to be taking place on this Thursday, February 12th. So, Tim Turry goes on to write, "Tune in live this Thursday for 60 plus minutes of news, gameplay updates, and announcements from game studios across the globe. February's State of Play will spotlight eye-catching third-party and indie games headed to PS5, along with the latest from teams at PlayStation Studios." Now, based on that write-up, this sounds like it could be a really big show. And if Sony hadn't retired the whole showcase moniker, I think this could probably fill in that space of being a showcase. 60 plus minutes, third-party, indie, and first-party from PlayStation Studios. It's going to be a really packed show, especially coming in at 60 plus minutes. So there's a lot that could happen here. Now, when it comes to Final Fantasy VII, I try to say this as much as I can in my videos, but please keep your expectations in check. I look back to last year in the lead up to the Game Awards, and so many people were convinced that Remake Part 3 was going to show up at that event. I personally was on the fence, leaning more towards, yeah, it's not going to be there just based on what Hamaguchi had said in interviews leading up to that event, but I saw so many people just ready to accept that it was going to be there, and when it wasn't, they were really disappointed. And over the months, I've been trying to, kind of change how I make these videos. I want to be very careful about how I talk about this stuff because I don't want to contribute to a hype machine that gets people so riled up and excited and thinking that something that isn't promised or guaranteed is going to show up at an event. And then when it doesn't show up, they're, inevitably disappointed. So I hope I haven't done that in the past, although I probably have. So I apologize greatly if I have. It's never my intention. We're all just really excited and waiting to see something in regards to Part 3. And the speculation aspect is a lot of fun. But again, please keep those expectations in check. It's not promised, it's not hinted at. Nothing is guaranteed in regards to Final Fantasy VII to show up at this event. All right, so please just keep those in check. Now, it is a really big year for Final Fantasy VII. Next year will be too, but Yoshinori Kitase himself even said in an interview with Famitsu that this is the year of Final Fantasy VII, and they seemingly have a ton of momentum that they can utilize to announce Remake Part 3 and tease it. So starting off first, Final Fantasy VII Remake is now officially multi-platform. It seems to be incredibly successful. It's sold out in most retailers. I looked at my local Walmart today. They had 0 copies on the Switch 2, so it's selling very well. And speaking of selling very well, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is officially announced to go multi-platform in June, is sold out on the Square Enix website in regard to the Switch 2 physical edition. So clearly a lot of people are excited for this remake trilogy now. They can actually hop on board and experience it without looking at PlayStation 5 and PC owners having a ton of fun. They can actually get in on the fun now. But specifically, with the fact that they actually now have Rebirth seemingly kind of out of the way in terms of an announcement of, hey, yeah, Rebirth is officially coming to Switch 2 and Xbox in June, that kind of seems like it leads to having some runway to tease 7 Remake Part 3. You got so many people who are now more interested in this remake trilogy. You have way more people that are even aware that this trilogy is happening. This is anecdotal, but I saw a post on Reddit a few days ago where someone was going to a Best Buy to pick up their physical copy of Remake on the Switch 2, and they had a conversation with the cashier, and that cashier didn't even know 7 Remake was a thing. They asked, hey, they're remaking this game? The customer was like, yeah, like I'm buying the Switch 2 version, and the cashier was like, oh, I think I might have to check this out. So believe it or not, there are a lot of people that don't even know that this thing is happening. But they know Final Fantasy VII. So that's really the first thing, is just momentum. They're getting ready with the blitzkrieg of marketing for 7 Remake on Switch 2 and Xbox, and now Rebirth is going to kick its marketing into high gear and release in June. So it would make sense to tease something in regards to Part 3 at a Sony State of Play, get people excited, and then in June, Rebirth officially comes out multi-platform, and then maybe a couple days after that, we have Summer Game Fest, which could be like a first legit gameplay blowout trailer style for Remake Part 3. Now, the second thing I've been seeing people talk about going around, and this one is a little bit more wishy-washy, and that's a recent price drop that Rebirth has received on PlayStation 5 and PC. And that's Square Enix officially announcing that the price will officially be $49.99 permanently. Now, this one is a little odd because, for me personally, when I look at Rebirth in store or online, the price is usually a base $49.99 already, and it's been that for the better part of a year. So if you go onto Amazon, you'll see $49.99 slashed out because the game is usually on sale for like $32. I even checked Best Buy's website today. It's on sale for $34.99, base price $49.99. So the price slashing thing is a little odd because it's been the $49.99 for the better part of a year. Unless Square Enix is speaking on like a global aspect of like, yeah, it's now $49.99 everywhere. But the fact that this price drop is being timed the way it is has some people, specifically Maximilian Dude, who brought this up on his stream the other night, thinking that you don't just announce a price drop when your multi-platform version isn't set to release until June. And he's got some, concrete stuff there. It makes sense when you think about it that way. Because it's like, why just drop the price now when it's for PS5 and PC if the people aren't going to get, multi-platform until June? So my thinking in that aspect is just to kind of like temper expectations, is that you've already announced Rebirth is going multi-platform. That's happening in June, but now there are a ton of people who are aware of Remake and Rebirth, and maybe they have PlayStation 5s and PCs, and maybe they don't want to wait until the Switch 2 version or the Xbox comes out, and they want to play it now. So what better time to drop the price for the people who already have those consoles and a PC to jump in and buy the game now? So that's kind of my whole mentality on that aspect. But again, for them to drop the price now, it is kind of interesting. But again, there is a ton of momentum being built up. And I think they just really want as many people as possible to have access to Rebirth, whether it's PS5 or PC, and then leading into the multi-platform release. But if you're interested in getting Rebirth right now, again, if you go to Amazon or Best Buy, you can snag it for like anywhere between $32 and $42. It is routinely on sale. It sells pretty consistently from what I can tell. They even have the deluxe edition back in stock on Amazon. I'm tempted to grab one, but it's like almost $200. And I think the retail price was initially $99.99. So I don't know if I want to pay that much as I want that deluxe edition. Now, the third reason that I think this game could show up at a State of Play, and this one just hit me recently, and it's pretty common sense when you think about it, but it makes way more sense for Part 3 to show up in a State of Play because then they can actually surprise people with the title reveal. If you just throw up the trailer on Twitter and YouTube, you're already revealing to people what the name of the game is, unless they just call it like Remake Part 3 in the title and then change it at a later date. But if it shows up at the end of a State of Play or at the beginning or somewhere in the middle, then yeah, we get that really cool teaser, maybe some gameplay stuff, some choice dialogue, and then at the very end, boom, they hit us with the title drop. Is it Return? Is it Reclaim? I'm still holding out hope for Revengeance. Who knows? But that is kind of like the biggest thing to me that is the most telling, is that you want to surprise people with what this game is going to be called. What better way to do that than to drop it in a State of Play? Because then it is a genuine surprise. So all in all, we've got momentum, price drops, and taking advantage of a genuine surprise reveal. Those are things that are kind of like marinating in my head right now of why it could potentially show up at this Sony State of Play. Also the fact, again, that this is a big State of Play means that there's going to be a lot in this thing. So I'm really excited. We're all just really hoping to see something. We're all ready to see something. And it's pretty clear that Hamaguchi-san and the team at CS1 are ready to show off what they've got for Remake Part 3. The guy's chomping at the bit. In every interview, he's trying to walk a tightrope of giving us info on Part 3, but not revealing too much. It's very clear they got a lot of cool stuff planned. And with all of this momentum being built up, they are leading to Part 3 potentially being not only the best of the trilogy, but the most successful of the trilogy and the most hyped up part of the trilogy. So again, just please dial in those expectations. I want to see something as badly as the next person, but nothing is guaranteed right now. Nothing is hinted at. I'm just kind of trying to make sense of what is ruminating in my brain right now. And of course, the developers will show the game off when it is ready because they understand how important this first reveal is going to be. You only get one shot at a first impression of your finale, and you gotta make sure it's the right one. So if it's ready, they'll show it off. If it's not, they'll hold off, because the last thing you want to do is send out the lamb without the lamb sauce.
Where's the lamb sauce?
Come on, man.
I just need it.
This is the lamb sauce.
Where's the lamb
That's the lamb
sauce?
But other than Final Fantasy, what else could show up at this event? I really love the God of War franchise. It's been a while since we've seen anything from Sony Santa Monica. The last thing they put out was the God of War Valhalla DLC, which was really fun. It was an incredibly interesting roguelite or roguelike, I never remember which one it is, version of God of War, which actually progressed the story a bit for Kratos and gave him some more character development. It was really, really well done. I'm really anticipating that next game. I don't know where it's going to be, maybe Egypt. Kratos facing off against Egyptian gods could be super cool. Now, speaking of Sony exclusives, I'm a really big fan of the Horizon franchise. Those games are so much fun. I love the world building, the characters, the development. I'm genuinely invested in where that story is going, but I also really love the gameplay. Much like Ghost of Tsushima or Yote, I can jump into the world of Horizon, specifically Forbidden West, and just roam around and explore and have fun because those worlds are so well built and they're so beautiful. So while I don't expect anything in the way of Horizon 3, they did recently announce Horizon Hunters Gatherers, I think is what it's called, which I'm cautiously optimistic about because, again, I love Horizon. I saw the trailer. I don't mind the art style. I know a lot of people are kind of iffy on it, saying it's kind of Fortnite-ish, which it kind of is. But the idea of playing a Horizon game that's multiplayer, where I can go online and just explore the world with people and do the combat, because I really enjoy the combat in Horizon. Being able to approach a situation in so many different facets. You can treat it like a big monster hunter battle, or you can set up traps around the field and try to lead the dinos towards you and trap them or stun them. You can throw like a big grenade to set an enemy on fire, and then you run, and then in slow motion you slide underneath them and hit them with an arrow right in their chest. There's a lot you can do. Based on the trailers I've seen for this game, it looks like they've really polished the combat, and it seems to be a little bit more arcadey, a little bit more action gamey, which could be a lot of fun. But the one thing that gives me pause about that is that it is a live service game. So I gotta wait to see a little bit more. Maybe they might show something off at this state of play. But I'm hopeful. I hope it's good. Another thing that could show up, we could potentially see Ghost of Yote Legends mode, which is the really fun multiplayer mode from Ghost of Tsushima, where you could go online, pick a class, and just play with 3 other people and battle waves of enemies. The combat in the Ghost games is so much fun. It's nothing super crazy and fancy, but it is so responsive and just so much fun to pull off. It's super flashy and stylish, and I never get bored of it. So the idea of revisiting Yote, but online with Legends mode, has me really excited, and it'll be the price of free $99, which is always really nice. Now, one game I am really excited to see, but I don't think it will be at this event, and that's Marvel's Wolverine. Last we saw Wolverine, we had a pretty big showcase for it, some gameplay, story stuff, actually getting to see the game in action. And if I remember correctly, the developers said that we wouldn't see more on Wolverine until the spring of this year, so I don't expect that to show up. But with that being said, that's the video. I am curious, Corduroy. Let me know in the comments down below, how are you guys feeling about this Sony State of Play? Does it feel like Remake Part 3 could show up there? Or are we all just continuing to be Delulu? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know, I've been asking this in a lot of my videos, but what do you think the title could be? Again, Return seems to be very popular. Reclaim is an option. Anything with like 2 syllables, I think, is a contender. So let me know what you guys are feeling on the subtitle and what you hope to see in that teaser trailer. Also, what else do you want to see at this event that might not be Final Fantasy related? I'll see you guys in the next video. Please remember to always be excellent to one another.